Welcome to one of the greatest racing games of all time, in my opinion, of course. Bit of a nostalgia kick. I want to give this game another go on PCSX2 with some settings that I think make an attempt at making this upscaled pretty high. At least it is on my display. Right now there's a kick-ass intro playing, but you can't hear it. I have it muted because it's all copyrighted music, I'm sure. But once we get into the game, I'll turn the game audio on when we're in an actual race. But check it out. The intro music is called Rush by Liam Westbrook, I think, and you can find it on YouTube by looking for the XGRA soundtrack. I don't think it's findable any other way. It might be original to the game, but I'm not sure. I created the profile ahead of time because it has the audio settings with the background music set all the way down, which is interesting. You think they'd have that like earlier in the game, but nope, that's tied to the profile. I'm going to attempt to play through the season. This might take me multiple episodes to complete. And if you're not familiar with this game, it's hyper bikes. They're futuristic, cyberpunk looking bikes that go very, very fast, like faster than the speed of sound in the higher categories or classes. And so we do get to pick these characters. I don't know how much the stats actually affect them all that much. I usually go with Jakar because she has higher agility and I like to turn quickly. And right off the bat, the only class that you can start is going to be on the invitation class. So you're limited to this one specific bike that everyone has to race on, and very low stats, very low performance, no weapons. So that's the thing in this game. You have weapons to shoot the other bikes, but that only becomes available after you rank up to the actual classes of the game. Now, I played many hours of this when I was a kid, but I'm since very rusty, so I apologize if I'm not great right off the bat, but I am trying to go for a air quotes perfect run where I win every race and complete every contract. You'll see more about contracts later, so I'm just gonna start.
Bike systems online. Good afternoon, rider. Today's track is Vostok Peaks. Good luck out there, rider.
The bikes all have like an operating system, and that's the voice that talks to you. You never get to see any of it. That's just what you see in the menu. I will go into the workshop and tweak my bike so that I get a little bit less downforce, because I think with my controls it's a little too grippy. So, and that's as low as it goes. It's just one. That's it. The minimum is there.
Bike systems online.
And it repeats the message, so I'm gonna just skip you and go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to welcome you to the first event of the world's premier...
The music you're listening to through the stream is Rainwave, so shouldn't be any problems there. But trust me, half the awesomeness of this game is the kickin' soundtrack, but I can't play any of it, sorry.
To sign the next XGRA champion.
And there's some real lucrative contracts to be earned here today, Bill. Believe me, these riders are going to be pumped up.
Yeah, Robbie, tell the fans just how extreme it is out there today.
Well, first off, Bill, these riders are going to be sweating their asses off inside those fire-retardant suits. And the ion engine sitting right behind them, they're going to get hotter and hotter the longer they sit there. Now, the riders will be visualizing every twist, turn, and bump on this unforgiving track. And on top of all this, Bill, they will know they're racing for their futures with the eyes of some of the biggest multinational corporations firmly set on them and their their individual abilities.
Well, it looks like they're ready to roll. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so excited. Race fans, welcome as season 2080 begins. Riders, we salute you.
I'll skip the intros as we've seen the track before. I am using the D-pad because the analog sticks on my PS4 controllers are a little too sensitive for me, and the game doesn't have built-in way to change that. I'm sure I could do it in the driver for PCSX, but that's kind of cheating. Couldn't do it on the original console. I'm not gonna make it happen on the emulator. You can drive out of bounds. It's kind of difficult to do, especially with the lower speed bikes. But think Mario Kart. You just get kind of like warped back to the track. Try not to hit other bikes. This game really penalizes you for that. If you rear end someone, you lose a lot of speed and they get a bit of a boost. So you don't want to do that. You can try to get them to hit you from behind so that you get the boost, but it's a little too advanced for me. Don't hit the edges, don't crash, don't hit the other bikes. That's the only way to keep your speed. These bikes are really slow. They don't go generally over 500 kilometers per hour. Yep, it's an actual speed, supposedly, that we're racing at. And you won't get to see it for a little while, but when you get to the supersonic classes, you can actually break the speed of sound. It's all very dramatic. All the tracks have kind of like built-in multiple paths. Some of them you could say are shortcuts. They're not really. And I haven't seen too many speedruns on this. I don't know how you speedrun a racing game, but I'm sure there's ways to cut tracks, but I've never discovered any. Now, I'm familiar with some of these tracks. I already know that some of the paths are faster, but some of them are harder to navigate depending on the bike. I'm sticking with what I know. And yeah, try not to hit the walls. On the right-hand side of the screen, you have the full course and your position. And in this game, the AI tends to not cheat so much, and you can pull so far ahead that they just can't catch up to you. That's difficult to do when you have it's difficult to do when you all have the same bike and it's all the same low performance bike. So we only have, I think, 3 or 4 races that we need to do to clear the invitation class, and then the racing gets a bit more interesting because we get to pick our team, pick our bike, and that affects a couple different things. And I actually forgot to record the first race, so I'm just going to have to start recording from the second race. Alrighty then.
Bike systems online. Good afternoon, Ryder. Today's track is Deep Space Mining Dome. Good luck out there, Ryder.
Mining Dome is one of my favorite tracks. If you ever listened to BT's ERF, Environmental Recycling Facility, I think that song was made for this track.
That's right. XGRA's got its own asteroid. Orbiting the giant planet Saturn, this rock is mined for its valuable hydrogen reserves. A large crater on the surface of the asteroid has been converted into a habitable area by a giant dome structure. However, for the first time ever in motorsport, these riders will be racing in zero atmosphere when they head out of the confines of the protective domes and tunnels.
Racing in vacuum. How does that work?
Hold them firmly to the track. Well, there were a few teething problems with the gravity matrix system last year, and I believe one rider is still unaccounted for. The rescue ships just couldn't catch up. Well, anyway, riders, we want to see some out-of-this-world entertainment, so get rocking!
If it wasn't clear, then in real life the sport would be very dangerous.
2, 1, race. Force 1.
The bikes have these discrete handling modes, and they're specific to the bike that you drive. The Invitation class bike has what they call power slide steering. Basically means when you steer really hard, the back wheel kind of slides out, loses grip. Not really a fan of it, but I think it's the one that preserves the most speed. We do have a brake, but I don't use it. That's probably why I'm not pro, but... And you can hear my rider breathing because we're in an outdoor section of this space track. Kind of similar to when you break the sound barrier, except you can't even hear your breathing there because it's just everything just goes silent. And you get like a blur effect. Yeah, so the other two handling modes are tight and hybrid, I think. Tight means you don't lose grip, but you do lose speed. And hybrid, I think, is somewhere in between. I don't really have a preference. I honestly can't remember when I played last. And again, you do have smooth steering with the analog sticks, but it's more than I can handle at the moment. So these air quote crappy bikes, with all the boost in the world, you can only hit 560 top speed. The next bikes can go up to like 600. But you haven't seen the main part of the game where you have these power-ups that you can pick up. Like all of that is locked because we're in the invitation class. Thankfully, it's only one cup that we need to complete. But yeah, 3D track. They say there's gravity, but I think the bikes are just like magnetically fixed to the track somehow.